weekly show talking about stats that are going on in Naperville this week, and I'm going to share the screen. So let's just get right to it. I'm excited to show this to you all. And let's see here. I'm trying to share the screen here. Why isn't it sharing? It's very strange. I wish I had Patricia here with me. Okay, so, all right. That's that. Should be screen sharing. Here we go. Okay, I got it finally. Sorry, you guys. All right, I'm not perfect at this, obviously. All righty, so here we go. So I'm going to start with all the stats. For those of you that have watched before, you're kind of familiar with what I'm going to be talking about. But for those of you that are new to the show, I do a week-over-week show to compare what happened last week in Naperville on certain points of data and then how it is this week. So you can see how things are progressing with the real estate market. So let's jump right into it. Now, I apologize. I was actually away on vacation. My mom was visiting last week. I'm going to try and upload a fun post, her trying to say a word in English. She has a German accent, so watch for that later. But that is why I was out of town, so I apologize I didn't have a show last week. Everyone needs a little time off, right? Okay, so here we go. September 17th, 2 weeks ago when I did the show. This is showing for detached and attached homes, how many were new on the market, 96, and how many went under contract, 101. That's fantastic. And I do like to point out, as I have before, the new properties, it's not all unique new homes, because some of these listings may have been a strategy of the agent to say, let's quote unquote cancel it off the market and make it quote unquote a new listing, where it really wasn't a new listing. Maybe they changed the price and just wanted to refresh it to get some new eyeballs on their listing. So that definitely is saying maybe it was 6, maybe it was 10. So if it was between 86, 90 new listings on the market, definitely more homes were going under contract than what was coming onto the market. This last week, we had 95 new listings, 102 going under contract. The market is moving. Buyers are still out there. People are asking, are things slowing down now? This is indicating it is not. Okay, buyers are definitely keeping active on the market. Average days on the market, 2 weeks ago, we saw for active homes, still active, not under contract, they were averaging 53 days. And then homes that went under contract, they were averaging 46 days. So the 53 could be a little bit skewed based on there are always some homes on the market where the seller is just trying for that high price that buyers are just not agreeing with, even in a seller's market. Okay, so you sellers, I know you're hearing good news here, but you do need to keep a reality check also on your pricing. There is a threshold for every market. All right, so that was 2 weeks ago. This week we had 93-day average for sellers, 75 days for homes under contract. So just to toggle back on the two slides here, we saw before it was 46 days, now it's 75 days. So that is a little bit longer for sellers to be getting their homes closed or under contract, but we can look at before they were 53 days on the market active. Some of those have turned into the under contract. So yeah, this is indicating that, you know, it's a you know, the pie chart showed as a seller's market because there's more homes going under contract than coming on the market, but the 75 days is showing that it could be softening a little bit for you sellers out there. So as I said before, don't get too heady with your asking prices, okay? Now let's look at this a little bit more breakdown. These are detached homes in Naperville, and we can see that the average list price for a home that closed was $530. Homes that are still on the market, their average list price is $627. This is what's interesting. Homes that are under contract now but have not closed, their average list price is $552 versus other homes that closed, their average list price was $530. Now, that could be also about the type of inventory. It doesn't mean have the prices gone up that much in just 2 weeks. I don't think so. Because we could also be talking about, well, maybe there were some larger homes that came on the market and that can skew this number a little bit. But at a minimum, I would like to say the number of units are pretty similar, and this number is definitely not going down, okay? So that's good. And interesting also, the market time is about the same. Pretty steady market. Okay, pretty steady market here. Maybe there is a little bit of an increase in values going up, but you know, just in a 2-week period, I can't imagine that it would skyrocket. All right. And then we can see the average list sale price for the homes that sold was an average of 517. So you definitely want to be looking at, it was a 517 sale price versus an average list price of 531 about. All right, so there is some budge there in price. It doesn't mean that every home is getting list or above. There are homes that are getting list and above, so that skews these numbers as well. So sellers, for those of you that have been sitting on the market longer or more around this time, you're probably having a bigger difference in your sale price versus the sellers that are going on the market and listing around this value. Buyers know what the home should be selling for. So if you are selling right around there, you're not hitting this market time, and you're probably doing better than the average here that we're seeing. Okay. So just, it's important. And if you need more explanation on that, just give me a call or DM me. Okay. I'm happy to dig deeper on that for you. This is just sharing with you the average number of showings per listing week over week. So this, I only have one chart because you can see we have multiple weeks on here. And this week was, let's see, I believe this week was Labor Day weekend at 1.4, and then it still dropped a little bit. We see it's dropping, you know, every week. The average showings per listing is dropping. That's another indicator that maybe the seller market is starting to soften a little bit. These are microscopic views of that. That's why I like to do the weekly show, so you can get a feel for which direction are things starting to move. Okay, it's really helpful to see this. And then this, I loved it. I threw this in just in the last few shows. It's a market action index needle. And 2 weeks ago, it showed 38. It says it's a slight seller's advantage. It's in the seller's market. You know, interestingly enough, when I pulled up 60504, that was in Aurora, the needle is at 60. Unbelievable. Aurora, right? That is attending School District 204, but a lot more affordable homes there too. So we have a lot of buyers out on the market shopping in a more affordable price range. Naperville's average is higher, so that's probably why the needle's at 38 versus 60 in Aurora in 60504. This last week, the needle is still at 38. It's flat. All right, so we're not seeing the needle ticking up. When I first started doing this, probably in April or May, the needle was around 34, and we slowly moved up to the needle at 38, but I have not seen it go above 38 in all the weeks that I've been doing this show. Interest rates for you buyers as well as for your sellers to pay attention. Sellers, you might become a buyer. And this is also a little bit of a reflection of the sense of urgency being created in buyers, because interest rate is a big part of that. It makes homes more affordable for them, or they can stay within their budget and still afford to move. So 2 weeks ago, we saw the fixed rate at 3.06 and the FHA at 2.87. And now the FHA is 2.94 and fixed rate is 3.01. So it's gone, let's see here, I'm bad with remembering. So the fixed year, that's gone down 3.01, it is this week, but the FHA went up just a hair. Okay, so rates are still fantastic. So buyers still get out there. These are 50-year historical lows, and it's continuing to stay pretty solid here. So, you know, do it while you're looking in the mirror and you can see what the rates are, instead of looking in the rear view mirror in the future and going, oh, I wish I had acted on those low rates. They were lower then, and now I can't afford as much home, or my monthly mortgage has to be higher to get that same size home for the same price. That's important. Then I like to add in a couple little surprise slides at the end. So here's my first surprise slide, and I love these few slides, and I blogged it. I believe it was yesterday that I blogged this, or I'm blogging it through the week. I have Patricia helping me with that because it's a lot of information to be getting out there, and I hope you're watching those. So there are different ways of how the market can react, and there were a lot of predictions on how the market's going to come back, the recovery. And I love it because if you were watching my show months ago, there was a prediction that there was going to be a V curve, And that happened in May and June. The market has recovered. And this is going forward with the same economists that made that earlier prediction, and they were spot on. 68.5 says there's going to be a Nike swoosh. So it's not a complete V curve where it just hits the bottom and just bounces back right away, but it's a very, very pretty smooth bounce back instead of doing the long U-shaped curve. That takes a long time for the recovery to happen. So this is very promising between the Nike swoosh and the V-shaped curve that the majority of economists believe is going to happen. 83.3 think we're going to have a Nike swoosh or V-shaped recovery on the real estate industry and market. That's great news, and very optimistic to hear that. The next one is unemployment, and maybe this is a partly reason why they're doing the swoosh and the V curve. People are always saying, with this whole COVID going on and there's so much unemployment and it's like we're living the Great Depression again. Let's dig a little deeper and look at the numbers. In the Great Depression, it was 108 months for that unemployment was equal to or greater than 9%. 108 months, that's a long time. And people think we're just as bad as the Great Depression time. But I'm just going to shoot right forward to it and show we've only had 4 months during this whole COVID period where the unemployment was greater or equal to 9%. We're below that, okay? So this is a very different scenario than Great Depression, Great Recession, that was 30 months, 1980s oil recession. I don't know if you older people out there remember that. You young, Ken and Kathy, you're too young to remember this. But in the 80s, there was an oil recession and there was a 19 months of low, or high unemployment. We're not living any of those recessions. So yeah, we got the COVID thing going on and it's affecting lives, and I don't mean to undermine that, or lessen that. It's always a concern. But big picture, we're not looking at the long term of having as much detriment as the Great Depression, Great Recession, or oil recession that this country experienced before, and we bounced back from that. So my feeling is pay attention to the details. Don't get caught up in tabloids and reading headlines only, or only watching one television station on TV. Get well-rounded information before you make decisions on what you think is happening going forward. We got elections coming up, and I am not going to get political here. All I ask from all of you is to remember you're in America, you're an American, fight for America, and do what you think is best for our future to keep our safety, our health, and our freedom. That's all I ask. So look for lots and lots of different resources so you can make an informed decision as we approach the later part of this year. I hope this has been great information. And if you need any specific microscopic information or information for a different market, please call, DM me on social media. I'm always available for you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Oh, here, I should probably stop the sharing so you can see me again. Here I am. Okay, so again, thank you all for watching. I really enjoyed doing this show and knowing that I can give information that's helpful to you. And of course, please share and like this all the time. Make sure other people hear about the show so they can get well informed too. You guys all take care and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.